liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Going out of order a little bit, I'd like to welcome and introduce our new member, Andrew Nelson. Welcome to DeSigra.
Thank you.
Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority. Do you have any opening comments?
No, just I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to learning from and working with each of you, and I hope we get to continue to do great work.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to our secretary for a roll call.
Okay, well, I see our new member Andrew's here. I'm here, Paul's here, Francis is here, and Vince is here, and our solicitor Frank is also here.
All right, all of you should have received the agenda as of last Thursday, I believe. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion, agenda is approved. Also, the agenda was posted on the DeSigra website on Tuesday. At this time, I'll open it up for public comment concerning the agenda. Okay, moving on. All of you should have received the minutes of the December 2023 DeSigra meeting. I also provided them to our new member. The new member can opt, Andrew, our new member, can opt to abstain if he'd like to. But do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 2023 DeSigra meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried. All right, we will move on to the treasurer's report. And in the absence of our member, Stefan Roots, I provided a treasurer's report since I have access to the bank statements. So I'll kind of summarize. We had a cash balance, and all of you should have received this as well. As of 12/01/2023, we had a cash balance of $319,344.41. I'm sorry. We had expenses paid during the month of December of $23,300, and our cash balance on December 31st of 2023 was $196,052.90. You see the checks that were paid, and you see the outstanding checks. And depending upon approval today, we have some pending checks that will be approved. I can add a comment. As of yesterday, the bank balance was $132,000, $302.90. I'm sorry, when I get to six figures, I don't say the whole number right. As of yesterday, all of the outstanding checks have been paid with the exception of Trainer Police Department, check 1180. That check was written on 10/16. I did a presentation on the 14th, but I don't know if I have to double check if that was the physical check. I think that was a symbolic check. So I have to double check to see if they have it and when they're going to endorse that. Also, Dancing Classrooms Philadelphia for the Delco sites. That check was mailed on 12/30. And the check to the foundation for Delaware County on behalf of Overtown Arts, that check was mailed on the 16th of January. So it looks like there's about approximately $22,500 in outstanding checks. So that
probably would have been better to just hand me the check today.
I know, but I didn't want to.
I'm giving.
Yeah, just for logistics purposes.
I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Gosh knows when we'll get it.
Yeah. So that is the treasurer's report. Do I have a motion to approve the January 2024 treasurer's report?
The motion.
A second. Any questions or comments? And you can abstain if you'd like to as well. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstain?
Abstain.
Okay, thank you. You have that. You have that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question about the Trainer Police Department check?
Which one?
The Trainer Police Department check.
Yes.
Our policy, when a check has not been cashed in a certain amount of time, refresh my memory. What did we say? Did you say you mailed it on the 16th? No, you mailed it on the,
Well, that's what I have to check. So I believe the check was written on the 16th, but because there's a delay in getting back the
contract, the agreement.
contract, I have to double check my notes to see if when I went to make the presentation, if I did a symbolic presentation or did I actually physically give them the check?
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're good there, even though it looks like it's been out for a while.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Also, we received a invoice from Spirit for the number DCGA-3 for $280.70 to advertise the 2024 District Reorganization Meeting and the 2024 meeting dates. Do I have a motion to approve that payment?
So
Moved.
moved.
Second,
A second.
second.
Any questions on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstain?
No, I voted aye.
Okay, thank you. We also have a motion to approve payment of Spirit invoice DCGA-2 of $745.10 for advertisement for outsourced services RFP. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstain? We also have a motion to approve payment of Frank Daly invoice of $2,562.50 for fourth quarter 2023 solicitor services. Do I have a motion?
moved, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. All right, part of this meeting is our reorganization process that is required every year. At this time, I'm going to vacate the chair position and I turn the meeting over to our solicitor as an objective person that can conduct this portion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, we will entertain motions for the position of Chair of the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Regulatory Authority. Do we have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Paul.
I'll second that.
One of the interesting things under Robert's rules that Mr. Johnson is always interested in is that the nominations do not require a second. Just order to remind detail.
Thank you.
But you can accept other nominations. Are there any other?
I'd like to make a comment. I'm a little concerned about the succession planning for this organization. So I want to make sure that we have someone. I consider it an honor to be the chair, and I'd like to continue in that role if possible. But I also embrace the importance of succession. So I just want to make sure that the other officers are afforded an opportunity to succeed me as chair at the conclusion of this term. So I ask that we think about that strategically as we nominate the other officers.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the nomination.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Abstain.
So the nominations have been closed. The only nominee we have is our current chair, who's done a wonderful job. All in favor of the re-election of Mr. Johnson as chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, and anybody wishes to
I'll
abstain.
abstain. I'll abstain.
Very good. Congratulations, you have been re-elected.
Thank you.
I believe you now take over the nominations.
You can continue. You can continue,
I
Frank.
can-
Yeah, sure.
Good organization.
I know it's not customary. I've seen in other places that the person that they put in that they asked to do the nominations continues with the nomination. So I'm going to ask you to continue.
Haven't been asked, so. All those who are, any nominations for the office of vice chair of the Sigma?
I'd like to nominate Francis.
Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Vincent Ragione.
Vince was nominated. Are there any other nominations? We vote in the order in which they are nominated.
And I'd like to make a comment. This is not anything against Francis. I know that she wants to be, I don't know if she wants to succeed to the chair role.
I'm happy to withdraw I'm happy to have my name be withdrawn if that's helpful.
I'm happy to withdraw it.
I'm withdrawn.
You are withdrawn. Okay, Vince, did you accept that nomination?
Yes.
So, have a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor of closing nominations for vice president, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. And anybody abstaining? No. Okay, so we will now vote. The only nominee we have is Vince. All those in favor of him being elected vice president, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, say no. And any abstentions? Congratulations, Vince. You are vice chair.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is treasurer, which did have some discussion upon before the meeting. Are we have any nominations for the office of treasurer?
I'd like to nominate Andrew Nelson.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, a motion to close the nominations.
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. All right, we will vote on our only nominee, Mr. Nelson, for treasurer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstaining?
Abstain.
The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have the office of secretary. Do we have any nominations for secretary?
I'd like to nominate Ron Evans.
Nomination, are there any other nominees? And I'll entertain a motion to declare the nominee process ended.
Motion.
Motion, sorry. All those in favor, please say aye.
We need a second for the motion to close.
You're right. Have a second, please. Not feeling really well.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
I'm a big boy. The motion.
we have a second. Do we have a second?
For closing the nomination.
Okay. Aye.
Already did that?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Vote.
Mr. Evans.
We have to vote on Mr. Evans because we closed the nominations.
Vote is on the approval of Mr. Evans as secretary. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. And any did. That's it.
Thank you.
Our new board, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for serving last year and also for your pending service for this year. Thank you. All right, at this time, I have a motion to reappoint Daily Law Firm. Do I have a motion? As our solicitor, I'm sorry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. We have a motion to reappoint Barbara Kane Thornton as the auditor. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. We have a motion to renew our contract with Course Vector for our web services. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carried. At this time, I'll turn it back over to our solicitor's report if he'd like to make any comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only matter I'd like to bring up to the board is the question was raised by Mr. Johnson about our insurance coverages. And that caused me to look into that. I probably should have looked into it sooner. But all's well that ends well. It turns out that we are absolutely covered and part of the county's insurance package. We have $10 million coverage. We have not only liability, but we have officers and directors so that all of you in your individual capacities are also covered. It's in our bylaws that you would be covered also, or you would be indemnified by the board. So it did require a couple emails and clarifications, but I have excellent news to report that that is taken care of.
Thank you.
And has been, I might add.
Right. Thank you. And I just wanted to double check on that. I am part of some other boards and committees, and that question's been raised in those other boards. So I just wanted to give everyone the assurance that we have all of the liability and risk management portions in place. So I just wanted to give everyone some self-assurance about that. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the solicitor? Okay, let's move on to unfinished business, and I'll turn the floor over to Frances Sheehan. She has prepared an excellent 2023 budget and has been tracking that throughout the year, and I'll give her an opportunity to provide a budget update.
So I want to just stress particularly for Andrew's purposes that, or for Andrew, is that this is not exact. We do not use QuickBooks. We do not use any accounting software. Everything has been done by Word or Excel by our treasurer. Midway through the year, I was asked last year to put together a budget for this year, and I started to try to keep track of how things were coming in the and how things were being spent in the monthly treasurer's reports, but this is by no means exact. I could have missed a number. And so I just really want to stress that because it really points to the need for us to have a qualified accountant doing this work on a regular basis, whether it's a financial back office or a treasurer who knows how to use QuickBooks or how to use Excel in such a way that we're tracking not just cash out the door, but accrued expenses.
Yes.
I think would make a very big difference going forward, because I'm not an accountant, and this was really just an attempt to help the board be able to see where we are relative to our budget going forward, because every time we made grant awards, we became nervous. Do we have enough money? Are we, when we make these commitments saying, okay, we're going to give $100,000 to youth serving organizations, are we going to have enough money in the account to be able to do that? We've been certainly well ahead of the game. And if you look at where I think we were as of December 31st, again, a number could have been missed. We brought in significantly more than we had originally budgeted. I think we had budgeted $370,000 in income, and we ended up bringing in $593,000. I'm forecasting for the coming year, assuming a quarterly payment of at least the amount we received in the last quarter. I'm forecasting $760,000. Our expenses, we've been able to keep very good control over. We've kept them at about $20,000, as you can see, for all of the, software and our legal bills and et cetera, which I think is very admirable given the amount of money that we are bringing in. I put in for the coming year a little bit of an increase here and there, but I also am putting in the orange number, the $53,200, as 7% of the forecasted income. But again, we haven't seen the bids yet and had that discussion. Somebody could come in with considerably more, which obviously is going to increase our operating costs significantly. Having said that, to bring in $760,000 and only spend 77 on overhead is very, very strong, but that's a mystery number. So that's just in there for estimates. Regarding the grant expenses, I really just took everything that we had been doing and added. Obviously, we could decide we're not going to provide any grants in a particular category during the coming year. We could decide we're going to keep the same amount for every category and add another category on or a new grant opportunity. It's completely up to the board, and we haven't even begun that discussion. It really just was an opportunity to sort of play with the numbers and see where we might be. So that's the forecast.
Thank you. So it looks like, so this is where there's a challenge when we write the checks and then the checks aren't.
That's why we need real accounting software where a real accountant is doing I know it's time consuming, but.
This took me a while.
I know, and it's not, and you should not be
Yeah,
doing
and
it.
I did it manually. And then guys got my updates last night. So thank you for this. Any questions or comments for Francis?
Well, so just more comments, and then just one question. So I do see here that we're projecting a net loss at the end.
But we're starting the year so healthy. We're starting the year well ahead of where we were
Understood.
at the start of the last year. So there's no reason we should be moving money out the door.
Understood.
That's our job.
I
Our
agree.
job is not to build a corpus or build an endowment so we started the year, I think we started with 99,000. That was what was in our account on January 1st.
Okay,
And as it is, we're going to end the year 25,000 ahead.
understood.
It's not only ahead of where we were at the start of last year, but it's ahead of where we budgeted we were going to be. The budget numbers aren't in here, but it's well ahead of where we thought we were going to be.
Okay. And then just the other thing is a comment. So I am by trade an accountant. I'm not a CPA, so I'm not an auditor. However, I'm very familiar with QuickBooks, so I think if the board is okay with it, I think we can save the operating costs and put that into programming, and I can just handle the QuickBooks, and that can be my.
Yeah, you're going to have to go back over the last couple of treasurer's reports, obviously, because again, this is not accurate. And once you do all that, you may come up with you will come up with a much better document than this.
Well, so I'm gonna print all of the reports right out of QuickBooks because QuickBooks has the ability for me to produce financial statements. So I would go that route
Right.
if it's okay with the board. Because I agree that the time consumption to try to convert those numbers into Excel by hand, I would say the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
It's crazy.
So
I'm based on what is in the bank as of yesterday, the checks that have already been paid, the outstanding checks that are out there now, and the checks I'm about to write as a result of your approvals today, I'm looking at $68,336.60 that we'll have in the account once all those checks are endorsed. Before we get the next check from Harrisburg.
The other thing that I think would be very helpful, Andrew, and I know QuickBooks can do this, so it's not additional work for you, but it would be really helpful to have an actual balance sheet as well as which we don't really have. We haven't really had. We started out with nothing 2 years ago, and we've really ramped up every month. Every quarter, we've got more and more money. This is like serious business now.
So as long as we've maintained the same account from inception, I can go import all of the transactions into QuickBooks from inception. So our balance sheet will be effective as soon as I get everything. So what happens is I'll do the import. I'll probably have to work with you closely, Paul. Maybe we'll get on a call. It would take probably about 2 hours. I'd need to name those transactions.
Okay.
So whatever source documents that you have that I can actually input them, classify them. And then once that's done, then I'll be able to do journal entries to clean up whatever kind of little bit that we have. And then Francis, then that'll be the balance sheet that we'll be able to produce.
Well, you'll have the audit from last year as well, from Barbara Thornton, from Jeff Kowalczyk,
Okay.
who actually lives right near here. And so a lot of that work's already, I'm assuming, in their working papers. And
Yeah.
you'll be the person who'll be working with the auditor starting any day now.
In a few,
So
probably a
the
few
timing
weeks
is
or a few
perfect.
months. I have a quick question for our solicitor before we continue with the questions. Mr. Daly, Mr. Nelson was just approved as the treasurer.
Yes.
Do we have to have a motion to add him to the checking account?
The bank will require it.
Is that permissible at this time since
Oh,
it was
yes.
not on the agenda?
There's no money involved. Strictly administrative.
Do I have to make a motion to amend the agenda?
Yes.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to, I guess I have to make a motion to amend the agenda first, right?
Yes.
I make a motion to amend the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor of amending the agenda, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? We have an amendment opening for the agenda. I make a motion that we appoint Andrew Nelson as a signatory, I guess, on the DeSigra checking account.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. Is that proper, Mr. Daly? Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments concerning the discussion of the budget update or budget in general? I do want to. We have a lot of categories. We also have a lot of special grants. I know I have some interest. I think Mr. Nelson has some interest in some things to do as well as probably everybody else up here on the board. So I want to give all of us an opportunity to provide that input as we start to develop this budget. We're not in a rush right now to create a grant category and get grants out per se, because before we get our payment in February, March, Mr. Daly, correct? Around that time for the fourth quarter, most likely?
I should have it in about 10 days.
Okay, the amount.
Yes.
Okay.
And the money actually comes in February.
Okay, all right. So I just want us to be able to provide our input to the development of a final budget. I'll give you an example. We have an unhoused crisis in Delaware County, and I want to see if there's any way that we can address that. Also, I've read about a innovative program in Havertown and Upper Darby that deploys mental health services along with the first responders, law enforcement particularly, and there may be an opportunity to replicate that in smaller communities at a not a significant cost as a pilot program, and I think that's something that would be important to do. But that's just my opinion. So I just want to make sure that we're all able to contribute and craft a budget that's a reasonable consensus of the authority. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All right, we'll turn it over to new business. Any new business? At this time, I'll open it up for public comment. At this time, I'll open it up for, oh, let me go back. Well, I'll make this during authority comments. We received, I'll start. We received one response to the finance outsourcing, and we received one response to the website/grants outsourcing. I did reach out to our solicitor to see if we have to re-advertise if we extend the deadline. He assured me that we don't. So I'd like us to reach out and see if there are other respondents between now and the next meeting, and we can put something on the agenda for the next meeting.
Can you share who the respondents were?
I don't have it in front of me, but one was the what was the other foundation?
The Communities Foundation?
Community Foundation was
Which
the,
portion did they respond?
that
to?
was for the grant.
They didn't respond to the financial?
No. It's in, also, this was in the email. For some reason, I thought that everyone had access to our email, but I'm finding that they
no.
don't. So I will provide that access so that you can see it. So I didn't distribute it because I thought everyone could see it. So
Okay.
I will distribute access to
And
the
did
email.
Brinker respond to the
Yes.
financial? Okay,
Yes.
so those would be the two. Do you remember what the dollar amount adds up to for the
No.
two of them?
No.
I think that's important information. Okay.
I-
It sounds like discussion needs to be had with the Communities Foundation to see if there's a chance they would include the financial piece.
Possibly.
Okay, so
And I think
which of us is running this piece of it all? Is it you or is it Vince? Are you running this piece of it all?
we created a subcommittee to put out the RFP with consultant with Frank, but like I said, we've only gotten one response for both of them. So I'd like to keep it open to see if we can get some more responses for consideration at our next meeting. Any other authority comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.